Yo, as a child, I thought our moon was made of a substance such as cheese due to an old fable. I also thought if I climbed and stretched hard enough, I could reach her with my hand since she looked remarkably like a tennis ball or orange suspended just slightly out of reach. This idea was bolstered by another fable that a cow had jumped over the moon. Although such fanciful ideas are the domain of children, some adults had the outlandish idea that our moon is a man-made satellite instead of a natural body. That is, our moon as a disguised version of Darth Vader's Death Star, the Star Wars movie franchise's fictional space station and superweapon. Our moon was called Luna, Latin for moon, at a time when people thought ours was the only existing moon. I use Luna as our moon's personal name and hold to the theory of panpsychism. It can't be proven, but is an interesting theory nevertheless. Please see my video on panpsychism. I gradually increased my knowledge of Luna and astronomy in general. I learned that there's no sickle or half circle shaped body that sometimes appears. Rather, Luna orbits Earth, and in this course changes angles, causing partial shadowing, allowing only a half or sliver to be seen. In the case of full moons, no shadowing. Luna doesn't produce her own light. Instead, she reflects our sun's light. She looks very beautiful through a telescope, which eliminates the false, pasty yellowish color you see with your naked eye. Telescopes reveal the true powder gray surface and marvelous craters in fine detail. And without Luna, life on Earth would not exist. Luna's gravity controls ocean tides, without which our land masses would be battered into oblivion by monstrous tidal waves. Her gravity helps regulate Earth's seasons and axial tilt and helps redirect meteors and asteroids away from Earth. Her magnetosphere helps redirect harmful UV, ultraviolet, light away from our sun away from us. Some people state that the moon landings were a hoax and that no man ever set foot on her. This is partly because there are no claim to moon landings after 1972, but this is easily explained. Back then, the United States was in competition with the Soviet Union, the space race. The USA wanted to beat the Soviets due to national pride, and primarily because Americans were worried that the USSR was planning to create satellites that could launch nuclear weapons down on us. But now we have already beat them as first to reach our moon, and they have done nothing to arm any satellites these past decades. Also, moon missions are highly expensive, and our moon lacks useful natural resources. It's also noted that none of the 6 American flags claimed to have been planted on our moon can be seen. But consider the difficulty of seeing something that small from such a far distance. And although there's no rain or wind, Luna has no atmosphere. So her surface is unprotected from the bombardment from our sun's UV rays and so-called solar wind, charged particles, cosmic rays, space rocks, and huge temperature variations which may have obliterated the flags. There are also moonquakes. Yes, as the Google Earth computer program maps Earth's surface via satellite imagery, there's also a Google Moon. But after using Google Earth, you'll notice an inability to see people and instead just see small dark blotches, like on the top of my head here, which could be any number of things, as views are vertical top down. There's a Google Earth Street View providing horizontal imagery and thus showing people, but there's no Google Moon Street View. Neither do telescopes provide any horizontal view. Looking at a flag top down, you'd likely only see its unrecognizable thin edge. Horizontal view, but if you're only looking top down, what can you see? You know what I'm saying? Now does a full moon or any lunar phase affect human activity, behavior, destiny, or emotions? Evidently, no. It plays no known role whatsoever. Our moon generally lacks effect on larger wild animals too, but she can sometimes affect their behavior as they rely more on moonlight for night activity since they generally fail to make use of electric lights. However, smaller animals such as seahorses are influenced by full moons to come ashore, mate, and reproduce. But ultimately, lacking knowledge of specific facts about our moon and other astronomical information may be trivial in comparison to the ignorance of understanding human nature, which the vast majority of adults are willfully ignorant of, especially concerning those with extraordinary differences such as Asperger's and other autism spectrum disorders. The ignorance of the average adult in that regard resembles a belief that our moon is a spaceship made of green moldy cheese armed with flatulence in order to conquer the world. Worse yet is the sociopathic and extremely psychotic idea that our universe came about without a creator. More willful ignorance in that sense, extreme willful ignorance. Instead, the ultimate extreme actually. Instead, humanity should continue to be inspired by Luna and other wonders of God's creation. Psalms 19 verses 1 to 3. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament sheweth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, night unto night sheweth knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard.